Hi, welcome to Jonathan's Art Journey. I'm Jonathan, and today we're talking about micro habits, or atomic habits if you're going off this book that I haven't read. What are they? How are they different to regular habits? And why are they beneficial? Let's take a look. Now, this is a combination of recycled information and my own experience, so read the book if you want the full picture, but here's my filtered summary. So the premise of a micro or atomic habit is reducing it to something almost insultingly easy. So say instead of running a kilometer every day, you'd make your goal just putting your running shoes on and walking out of the house. Whether you actually go for a run or not doesn't determine your success or failure, but you do usually follow through. It's about the accumulation of small effects over a long period instead of trying to go for big changes immediately and then either getting burnt out or overwhelmed or fatigued in some way. And the maths they use in the book is, hey, if you get 1% better every day, then by the end of a year, you'll be 37 times better. And it's a bit reductive to take things like athletic ability or artistic skill and just put them down into a number that you can say, oh yeah, I can get 1% better every day. But it does illustrate the sort of philosophy that they're going for of, what do they call it? Accumulative small improvements. There's also 3 other parts of making a habit effective that I won't go into here because it'll sort of bog down the video, but I'll put up a little chart if you want to pause it and take a look. It's pretty useful information, I think. Now let's get into some personal experience examples using my New Year's resolutions and the progress I've made on those so far this year. Resolution 1, which I think I'm going to call a failure so far, was make 100 videos this year. And that, yeah, it's mid-February and I have made 5. So little bit behind on that one. But this is, I mean, it's good in a way because it's a perfect example of a bad goal. It's a perfect storm for procrastination. So it doesn't require immediate action. I can leave it until September and then make daily videos and still make it. Hey, I don't need to do anything right now. It's okay. I got other stuff to do. I'll get to it later. It'll be fine. But then, of course, the longer it's left, the more concentrated that work becomes because it's the same amount in less time, and the bigger the mental hurdle is to starting. And then even if I do, it's still just a tiny step on this massive mountain of the 100. So it isn't as rewarding. It's a hard slog and I don't want to do it. It's tough. So let's improve this goal and turn it into a micro habit. So let's reduce it to the smallest possible action that'll lead to more action later, maybe, but all I need to do is that one thing and then tick it off and we're good to go. So let's turn it into a routine of opening my scripting, recording, and editing software every day. I can do that. That is insultingly easy. If I can't even open some software once a day, then there's something very, very wrong with me. There's a couple of other things we can do to make the habit stick. So I can instill a craving. So I think it would be helpful to remind myself what I get out of these videos. And for me, I think the big thing is being able to help people. So it might be helpful to, at the time when I'm supposed to do it, sit down and visualize people saying nice things about it. Like, oh yeah, that was really helpful. Thanks. I really needed to hear that today. This has helped me in some small way on this day. That's all I need. Just a little bit of feedback about that, and it gives me that little dopamine hit of like, oh yeah, that was worth it. So while that is what I crave from it, that isn't actually within my control unless I do something silly like uh, pay actors to say nice things every time I post something. On top of that, it's a good thing to instill a reward which is within my control, and I've been using a habit tracker for some things, so I think that would be a good thing to use for this as well. And with that fixed, let's take a look at resolution 2, which I think I'd call a success, which has been drawing every day. And that's because I made it only 2 minutes of drawing every day. Again, it would be insulting to my self-image if I couldn't even sit down next to a piece of paper and move my hand around making marks for a bit. And as a result of that low barrier of entry, I sit down and I start, and I usually end up doing way more. And I think a big part of the success is, as I mentioned before, is using a habit tracker. So I printed one out and I put it somewhere prominent. Well, it's actually just there behind me. And every time I finish my 2 minutes of drawing a day, when I go to bed, I can color in a little circle. And that's, that's a nice little satisfying thing where I'm like, yeah, I did that today. And after a while, I see a line, little dots. I'm like, well, I have to continue now. This is break the streak. That's no good. And it's especially impressive when you compared to what I was like before. And the interesting thing is that I don't really need the reward anymore. It's just sort of become a thing that I do, and then coloring in that little circle is a nice little bonus at the end. You could say it's become automatic, or even a habit, maybe. So yeah, hopefully all that will help you make better habits, achieve your goals, and improve your craft. When I was looking around for a habit tracker sheet, I couldn't really find anything that ticked all the boxes I wanted of showing a whole year just for one habit, having all the days in a line instead of it being in a calendar view, and also, oh wait, no, that's it. So I made my own. And if you like the look of it, feel free to copy the format. I'll pop up an image of it right now. Or I've popped it up on Gumroad for $1. So if you feel like supporting the channel and saving yourself a little bit of work of plotting out all the days, it's there for you. Right, thank you very much for watching. Consider subscribing if you want to catch more, and push the button that looks like this if this reflects your opinions on what you've heard today. And I'll see you next time.